lovely bug, Feugy.
Okay, well, good start.
Well, anyways, hello and welcome to tonight's D&D stream, Lifestream's campaign of Lockdown in Dunreen. I'm your DM Hesper, and tonight we're joined by, I'll go with this list, Cados.
Hello, I play Raine, the half-elf bard hexblade.
And Feugy.
Hello, play Remy, and it is not a crappy bug.
All right, and Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I had a near-death experience recently.
In game, not real life.
Correct.
My daddy would
Just
say it, said it so jubilee.
Just clarifying that for anybody, clarifying that for you too. He didn't, go on, come on here and it's like, oh my god, he almost died or whatever. Anyways, I almost said Dunsen, but Bubba.
I am Bubba, and I play Dunsen, this trusty sidekick, Squeakers, the 14th.
And
Yeah,
Khaleesi's also here playing R, but she's no microphone.
Yeah, if somebody can keep an eye on whatever she types and stuff like that, that'd be great. That way I don't have to keep turning my head all the way like 90 degrees or further just to see what's on the TV. Uh, so, no, no Lani tonight. She's a little under the weather. I hope she gets to feeling better. And, yeah, welcome back, Bubba. I think you missed did you miss the last two or just the last one and the very tail end of the last one before that? Something like that, I think. Anyways,
I beat the Bubba's vacation curse by the skin of my fucking teeth.
oh yeah. So last time, you guys found yourselves on the third floor of this basically kind of tavern inn establishment. Finding as you go up each floor seems to get nicer and nicer. Um, as you guys were thinking to yourselves, well, it's time to take a look around. The dwarven fellow, who you eventually found out his name was Garum, basically turned around, looked at you guys, and was very confused and told you, no, we're not stopping here. We're going to the top. So you guys continue on past the next, I guess, gatekeeper, who was this very well-to-do dressed dragonborn, as he spoke an incantation and opened up these iron bars that crossed in front of each other, preventing entrance up to the top floor. Where you guys met and eventually found your way up onto the top floor, which seems to be basically the hangout and headquarters of the stonecutters. There, with a few stops by the guards, but this Garum talking to them and letting you through, basically allowed for you guys to eventually come and meet the head honcho himself, the stonecutter. Speaking to him, you guys were, um, you were, I guess, hyped up by Garum, who essentially gave you guys an option of doing lesser trials, or one of you representing as a champion of all of you to do a greater trial known as a Thieves' Gauntlet, which you guys knew from your father, uh, is kind of a bit of a ordeal and very deadly. Ryan, deciding to go ahead and take this on, decided to take on this Thieves' Gauntlet. The first challenge took a little bit of thinking, but he did manage to make his way past the set of pendulums that swung up and down the length of the hallway, jumping from top of pendulum, on top of one pendulum and jumping from pendulum to pendulum. A couple close calls, especially the one that nicked his forearm and tore off, not only his clothing but some of the skin on his forearm.
And my
He
pride.
yeah, and managed to make his way through the first challenge. Um, then proceeding on to the next room, which the next room promptly displayed to him the dangers of this room as multiple eyes that had openings shot and bellowed forth bolts of flame. Um, Ryan, testing only one of the eyes, found out that the red eyes didn't seem to have an issue. As soon as he put his full weight on the first one, though, it activated the giant red eye on the back of the wall, pushing forward, forcing him to have to make his way through. Halfway through the chamber, things started to get trickier as the tiles on the floor started shifting by flipping on over on him, actually revealing that they were wrong tiles, and creating a time limit as the gate as the doorway shaped as an eye basically started closing. Uh, at the end, Ryan basically got really panicked and made a few mistakes as he tried to hurriedly make his way out. Um, and coming out of that, pretty burnt, really in pain, almost on death's door.
I believe I took 55 points of damage.
Holy shit.
Something close to that, yeah.
Yeah, it was in the 50s.
Yeah, and then not to mention the pendulum that tore off like a whole bunch of flesh and stuff like that on your arm. That was like another 18 or something.
What? That was a hell of a crit one, I'm assuming.
No, it wasn't a crit
No,
one.
none of those were
Oh,
crits.
Yeah,
oh.
I can look up and find what it was. It's all these acrobatics rolls here. Yeah, I dared to roll a 17.
Huh.
Anyways, after that, well, it was the acrobatics and the athletics because you decided to try
Yeah.
to make a jump there at the very end, and the athletics really didn't go well for you at all. Uh, but yeah, um, after which, Ryan, in a lot of pain, trying to decipher the next room, and finally figuring out what's going on in the room. Realized that the ceiling, lined with spikes, started descending upon him as he had attempted to quickly open the lock on the doorway that was in front of him, that was being guarded by a uh, mechanized whirling death trap. As he managed to
My eyes
pry
just
it.
could not discern the shape of the room or of any of the objects in the room.
Yeah, and did manage to, after a couple of tries, to disengage the lock, uh, stopping the death trap from basically crushing him or tearing him to ribbons, depending on how things could have turned out. With quick thinking of gumming up the mechanisms with his short sword. Finally, in the final chamber, he was presented with a ruby that was about the size of his head on basically on a golden stand on top of a pedestal. Ryan, thinking that this is another trap, took quite a while, but eventually realized at the very end that this wasn't a trap. This was just the Stonecutter's way of getting a kick out of seeing how much people overthink this situation.
Was it worth
Uh,
it?
After which,
No, because I didn't get the opportunity to refuse the offer of becoming a stonecutter.
yeah. Afterwards, being taken back to the chamber of the stonecutter, he he was impressed that they made it through. It was for in first person who made it through in 20 years, but unfortunately wasn't quite up to snuff, and did give you guys access to the third floor and promised you for the night a place to rest if you desire to take it, and a couple of meals. Uh, Engraving upon each of you with the presented items is each item was engraved with this dwarf Thorn, who had this was basically all these runic tattoos running all over his body. Uh, Placed carvings upon the items that you presented to count as credentials for the access to the third floor of this establishment. With the only exception being Remy, which he peered into Remy's mind and pulled forth a stone bear figure and presented it to Remy as his credentials. Afterwards, the group then were escorted back downstairs after asking the stonecutter a few questions, which, other than finding out that there was a blocked passage that leads into the mines, that, you know, he wouldn't be disappointed if they were cleared, but also at the same time, he's not pressed for clearing them due to the extra manpower that he would have to put out forth to protect this from the miners from discovering the black market. Um, he basically had you escorted back down to the third floor, where you guys seem to have gotten a little bit more recognition for your skills, and a couple of butthurt people who lost some bets, especially that older dwarf who lost a bet to Remy for basically 1,000 gold. Um, and you guys are now find yourselves on the third floor of this establishment. Looking around, definitely seems like people have started clearing off on the third floor since you were last here. Only just a couple patrons who are passed out, and our dragonborn dressed in his butlery attire, but a little bit more lax as he's seems to have loosened the bow tie around his neck to and taken a little bit more of a laxed stance in his posture. And the bartender that you've been told, Nineth Talk, uh, who is still basically, taking care of the bar, seems to be like cleaning things up and getting things fixed up for the night. As you guys concentrate a little bit, it's faint, but thanks to the open air of the balconies, the lower amount of patrons on this floor, you guys can still hear the hustle and bustle of the bar fight that you guys have ensued downstairs continuing. Um, yeah, that happened about 8:30 or so, and it's probably getting close to 11 at this point.
Night's still
So,
young.
yeah, so,
That also feels like it happened like a month ago at this point.
uh-huh. So,
Are,
and like I said, a couple patrons who are passed out at the bar, or not at the bar, but like different tables, they're kind of slumped over, heads kind of on the table, kind of sideways. Doesn't seem like that they're too concerned about kicking them out or anything like that, though you'll just have to wait and see. One appears to be human, and the other one appears to be gnomish. Though, as opposed to most of the normal gnomes that you've seen down here, this one seems to be of more natural skin tones rather than the kind of dark grayish pale kind of colors that you've been seeing on more of the other gnomes that you've seen around here.
Not a deep gnome.
Basically. So, what would you guys like to do?
are we still in the black market?
Yes, you guys are.
Okay, just making sure for me.
We were thinking about having a rest, but we didn't actually do it yet, right?
Yeah, you guys
Right.
were talking about,
I think
you know,
Ryan really wants to sleep.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Didn't know
don't
if
blame him.
yeah. You guys were promised that, if you wanted the meal before going to bed,
Fair.
there is options to take the meal.
Yeah.
Other than that, it'll probably be some kind of breakfast in the morning, and that's probably the extent of the uh
Hospitality.
yeah that you're getting from the stonecutter beyond your access to this floor.
I'm gonna opt for getting the meal for dinner before
Okay.
going to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, let's have the dinner.
Okay. All right. So, guess you all walk up to Nidith Talk. She looks up at you and acknowledges you with a short nod of the head. Just seems to be waiting for you to initiate the conversation rather than her. If you needed something. Um, Seems like she might have some kind of suspicion about who you guys might be, but isn't seeming to take the initiative.
Excuse me. We would like some good food.
All right, and you would be
Remy.
okay. Yes, and your other compatriots here. I'm assuming are, if I remember right from the Stonecutter, there's Ryan, there's Raine. Didn't really get her name and didn't get his name, but there was mention of a human and another dwarf. Okay. Yes, I've already given word by well, not directly, but from the Stonecutter to provide you with a meal should you desire it tonight and rooms. And if you do take upon the rooms, I am also informed to offer you guys a meal when you wake up.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, um, unfortunately, and this is probably why he extended it to the morning as well. We don't have a whole lot, so it's going to have to be kind of what we kind of have left over. I can heat it up a little bit, but yeah, unfortunately, it's not really up to normal standards as we generally have our eatery done about an hour ago. But I was told to
Well,
make
aren't we on the third floor?
yes, and
Shouldn't we get third floor treatment right now?
roll me a persuasion check.
And could I back up my brother? Oh man.
If you want to,
Okay.
I mean, what do you say to add to this to back him up?
Say that our brother completed the thief gauntlet, and he was the first one to complete it in over 20 years. Couldn't you make an exception?
All right, go ahead and roll me a persuasion.
Well,
Well, considering all the things, she seems to have kind of a. She's not too happy, but she understands that there might be a possibility that if you guys aren't treated as well as you're probably expecting, and it gets back to the stonecutter, it might be her neck on the line. So she seems to give in, and she turns over to the Dragonborn. Let's see here. She turns over to the Dragonborn, and she goes, Fumtak, do you mind possibly watching this over? I guess I need to, cook something for our guests. And he kind of looks over at her and goes, kind of gives her a little bit of a, a nod, kind of bow, and proceeds to tell her, why, of course. I mean, I'd be honored to keep an eye on this for you. As you are then told by Funtak to basically take a seat, and your meal will be out to you as soon as it can be prepared.
Thank you very much.
I think at this point Ryan is like shifting in his chair, trying to find a comfortable way to sit down.
Very understandable. Um, let's see here. Is this from the chat? Is this a Ryan thought, or is this a or is this a
Maybe a
is
little
this
bit
an
of
actual
both, but he doesn't say anything out loud.
Okay, roll me. Uh, actually, yeah. Looking at this Dragonborn, he is a white. He has white scales.
Is that a frost breath then?
Yeah, it's very easily to understand that it is not fire.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, for you, the easiest to understand is if when you're like, man, why isn't he just breathing fire? Oh, right, not all dragons. If he was a red one, yeah, that definitely would make sense. But
Mhm.
yeah, and unless they're making ice cream or something, it's probably not much use. Oops, I forgot to move you guys, didn't I? You guys are kind of still looking at the title page, aren't you? There we go. Move you over there. Um. Okay, so you guys take a seat. Um. You know, probably at one of the tables that doesn't have a drunk on it. I assume.
Good assumption.
Awesome.
Not a drunk at the table yet.
Uh, and basically, it takes a while because you're probably assuming that she has to restart up the ovens or the whatever they use to cook on. The basically get the fire going again and such. It takes probably about a good hour before you are served a hot, uh, fresh meal rather um, than the previously, uh, you know, given. Well, this is what we have on hand kind of meal that you would have gotten. Um, it seems to be a fairly nice, at least looking, cut of meat. You're assuming since it's a dwarven establishment and stuff, it's probably like maybe like some kind of uh like might be a beef, might be a like a mutton or goat, or some kind of meat along that long along those kind of lines.
Got
Cut
that.
kind of cut like kind of as like I said, a nice steak kind of like cut. Um, with a bit of a sauce ran on top of it, and some uh potatoes that have been they're not burnt. They just got a little blackened, and basically like fire roasted probably potatoes. And let's see here, uh and it looks like probably some kind of like mushroom or something, just to kind of go with it, to kind of add a little bit more balance to the meal rather than just all meat and such. And she does bring out a couple of uh, fluted glasses. These are better than the ones that you saw on the floor below. Not like super fancy, but at least in good condition. You're assuming when they get nicks and stuff like that from this floor, then maybe they're reused on the floor below. And placed with that, and pouring from a bottle seems to be a like a very dark red kind of wine. And filling up the glasses, and basically then going ahead and setting the bottle on the table, and looking at you all, kind of easily kind of tell she's not happy that she had to work an extra hour, basically. But does give you a well, I hope that the meal is up to your standards. and then proceeds to take a turn on her heels and back towards the bar to relieve Femtok of watching the bar. As now at this point, Femtok seems to be helping her out with basically cleaning up and getting it all kind of shut down for the evening of serving drinks and food and such.
Well, if it took an hour to get here, somebody definitely has to wake Ryan up. I think you definitely snuck a snooze in.
I wake Ryan up. We eat. We sleep. We wake up. We eat. Are they still fighting downstairs?
Okay, so
No, Hesper, I gotta have you explain our breakfast first. Keep going.
well, we'll
Like-
just go ahead and make this quick. You guys get through your meal. You
Was I
guys,
supposed to take notes on that dinner?
no,
Okay.
it was just kind of you guys rolled. You wanted something better, so I decided to go in detail on why it's better than
Hesper,
what
you
you
should
would
have been a
gotten on.
chef.
Bubba, I have some homework for you after this. When I post this video on YouTube, go listen to this again, and go listen to the trap room number 3 from last session that you missed, and
All right.
compare.
Okay.
Oh man.
Anywho,
There's a thing and another thing, and one is a horizontal thing sticking out, and this one's spinning, and there's a thing running underneath it, and there's something back there. It looks like a lock, and then the thing on the wall turns horizontally. No, vertically. No, wait, horizontally.
That doesn't sound confusing at all.
I think my words are, I'm going to vomit.
This character suffers from vertigo.
Anywho, we'll just basically go through this quicker. All right, so you guys sit down, finish your meal. Probably go ahead and finish off the whole bottle. Yeah, even taking the bottle and going, finishing off the bottle and stuff like that. If you went back to your room and stuff like that afterwards, you'd probably be able to sleep it off. So, no need for rolls on that. Um, Going back and up to the bar and getting your keys. The rooms are big enough for 2 people each, so not sure how you guys want to divvy up the rooms, but she tells you that they only have 3 rooms available.
We figure it out. Let's wake up now.
Well, I kind of need to know who's sleeping in which room.
Okay, there's 5 of us, right? Or 4?
Yeah, there's
5.
5.
I feel like since the rest of us are family, Dunsen probably gets his own room.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
I
the
don't
2
know
girls
anything
are
else
2
beyond
boys.
that. Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, all right. That will work then. All right. As you guys head off to your rooms, and after a meal, a very exhausting time down here in the black market, you guys are quick to go to sleep, and pretty close, especially Ryan. As soon as heads hit the pillow, it is pretty much snooze time. The beds are fairly comfortable. Not the most luxurious beds that you guys have ever slept in compared to what you deal with more at your father's establishment, but good enough. Better than some locations. And yeah, so at this point, I need everybody to roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
E.
And I'll have Lani roll hers when she comes back.
Good job, Remy. You got us poisoned. She did more than spit in our food.
No, I think it's just the longer we stay in this town, the more
Yeah.
we get diseased.
Huge.
Dude, I'm fucked.
I feel like Raine's just been licking every doorknob since she came here.
Apparently. Is there any way I can use my
Doorknob.
own bardic inspiration to like increase that roll?
But wait, Hesper,
You
I have a
can't use
question.
bardic inspiration, but
Never mind.
if you
You
really
have
want to
DM
use it,
inspiration.
yeah, you have a DM inspiration if you really want to use it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
and for
use that.
context, I used my inspiration on that the first time around.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my inspiration on that one.
All right, go ahead and roll me another con save then.
Okay. Oh my god!
Oh!
What in the world?
All right. So as you guys sleep through the night, I'll come back to that at a later time, but I do got that set aside. Um, you guys seem to sleep pretty well throughout the night. Let's see here. Give me a second here. Okay. All right. So, as it starts getting closer to the time for after you guys. Oh yeah. By the way, go ahead and cap off your maximum hit points and
My hit
such.
points? Yeah, don't worry, I did it.
Did I
And
recover my 2 bardic inspirations?
yeah, your bardic inspirations probably recovered as you guys were waiting for dinner. So yeah,
Okay.
those recover, spell slots recover, everything recovers. As it draws closer for about time for you guys to, about when you guys would stir. You guys, I'm guessing probably after a trying time as the day before, you guys are probably wanting to sleep in a little bit longer today. As 8 o'clock draws around, you know, the body starts to stir to a groggy kind of conscience and such. Raine, I need you to roll me a disadvantage perception.
Okay.
Good start.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, as you know, you're sleeping and such. You kind of feel you know um still tired, nothing feeling too off or anything like that. Just a slight warmer sensation around your chest, but that's about it.
Oh, okay.
Um, as you guys continue to sleep until about 9 o'clock, as you guys, I would say, unless there's some of you who want to sleep a little bit longer than 9, that would basically be about 8 hours of sleep because it probably took you guys probably 30 minutes or so to 30 minutes plus to eat dinner and get all your stuff together and stuff like that. It's probably about 1 o'clock before you guys even went to bed. So, uh, who is thinking about getting up at 9?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm up. I'm up pretty
Okay.
early.
Okay. Uh, um, Ryan and
If
Raine.
everyone else is getting up, I'll make the choice to get up too.
Well, the only one
I don't
that
want to
you'd
miss
know that
anything.
the only one that you'd be getting up and that you'd know you'd be getting up for would be the only one that you know that'd be getting up is Remy because that's the only other one that's in the
Remy,
room with
roll
you.
stealth.
Okay.
I'm up.
Because
Oh, what a beautiful morning, guys!
Yeah, he's up, he's happy, he's going, he's clattering and clinking around his coins that he managed to make. He's not very quiet at all during this. So I guess Ryan's up. I guess that leaves Raine.
yeah, I mean, I kind of want to sleep in just a little more.
Okay. As you kind of like, you kind of like half open one eye, and you're like, I don't feel like it quite yet. As you go back to sleep, and you seem to move your arms, and something feels awkward as you kind of feel something very, as you kind of like make a kind of like a hugging motion with your arms, something scaly.
What?
Ooh.
Okay. I kind of start stirring and try to wake up. See what the hell is that?
You kind of jolt up and you're like, okay, what the hell is that? As you throw the sheets off, and kind of your surprise and stuff wakes Roux up as well. As Rue's kind of like, oh, what the hell's going on? Um, you look in the bed and slowly stirring awake as you are trying to figure out what the hell is this. You find a slowly coming to consciousness Zedu in your bed.
Oh
What?
God!
Oh,
What is a Zedu?
That's our kobold friend.
No damage.
No damage.
No
oh.
damage? You slept with no damage?
I don't remember doing anything of that
I really
sort.
hope you put on the no damage ring. You need protection.
I'm gonna kind of fall off the bed and be like, what are you doing in my bed? In Draconic.
He kind of like takes a while, and then all of a sudden his eyes jolt open, kind of realizes he's like, oh jeez, so sorry, came to tell you, but you were sleeping, and I watch, and then I get tired because you look comfy, and then I sleep, and then now you yell, and he's kind of panicky yelling too.
Okay. Why were you looking for me?
Oh, you you know Tunnel? Long time?
Yeah.
No long time.
Oh, did you guys finish it?
Yes.
Okay, let's go downstairs and tell my family.
No questions on how he got in here. Just like, oh, let's go ahead and do that.
Well, I'm kind of like slightly still half asleep, but I'm also excited that the tunnel has been open. But that's kind of an afterthought. Like, how the hell did he get in? Because this is
I
like the
think
third floor.
I think Ryan is in front of like a full body mirror or something, dutifully like trying to cover up all of his fresh scabs with makeup.
Well, like I said, the healing ointment that was put on you,
Yeah.
a lot of that went away. As you're
Okay.
not very scarred. You're just very sore.
Yeah.
There's a couple of like small scarring, but not
Okay. Okay.
anything major. The worst is your hair. Is certain parts of it are kind of singed off.
All right. I do my best to style my hair in a way that hide some of that, I think.
All right, I mean, it's not pretty, but I guess it will have to do in your situation. You try your best, basically,
Gonna have to get a hat.
Yeah.
or a
You
hood.
don't have a hood? You don't have a ninja
Oh,
hood?
I do actually have the cloak of elven kind.
Elven kind. I mean, I guess if you want to run around with the cloak up all the time, you could.
Yeah. That's a way to look mysterious and then hide his horrible hair.
I might do that at least while I'm down here.
So, putting up your cloak and realizing as you put up your cloak that as
A little
it's
sneakier.
yeah, a little sneakier as its effects seem to take place. Who knows? Maybe somebody might not notice you and accidentally sit on you. But that's a chance that you're willing to take with the condition of your hair at this moment.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess are you leaving the room? Your room, Raine?
I did also kind of tell Roux that we need to go talk to our siblings because our kobold friend has finished the tunnel.
He's just kind of like just kind of like nodding. because you're speaking common, and he's like, he kind of butts in like, yes, well done. But me not need to sneak go. And yeah, well, I guess we'll see how that plays out as you guys leave the room. All right. So as basically, night kind of, yeah, I mean, basically as you guys enter in the room, where the main congregation is and such, seems to be like people have been coming for a little while at least. Uh, you kind of looking over, um, uh, Fumtek and Niktok, Ninniktok, seem to be both pretty tired from the having to stay up later than they were hoping to last time, and then having to be up early to help run the establishment. Yeah, so they look a little groggy. Um, as patrons seem to be coming in, you guys seem to be making your way back to the main chamber and such. Raine, you're watching Zedu, and he is not sneaky at all. As he's trying to, he's peering around corners wrong. You wonder how the hell he even made it in your room in the first place. And he thinks that this is a good opportunity. He starts making a skitter across the floor to make his way over to the balcony, and you basically hear a shout of basically you know it seems to be coming from a male patron and such. Human, pretty pretty bulky, pretty strong. As Zedu gets pretty close to the balcony, pretty much everybody, even our groggy two attendants, notice him kind of skittering across the room. The only one who seems to take effect of this, though, seems to be this human who basically goes, he basically, damn kobold, what are you doing up here? Get the hell out of here! And he punts Zedu and goes to punt Zedu in the basically kick him in the ass. Oh dear God. Yep, I'll definitely do it. Punt Zedu pretty damn hard as you watch Zedu kind of like lift off the ground, seems to clear the balcony railing as he kind of takes a look back with a look of a wily coyote. Oh shit. This is not what he was planning on doing. And you hear basically kobold draconic screeching of as he goes falling off of the balcony. And a few moments later, you guys hear a thud out in the street.
Is Dunsen near this or no?
You guys were, Ryan and Remy and Dunsen. You guys were probably more kind of like out in the central room, probably getting a seat at this point.
I had no idea this was happening. Okay, just want to make sure. Okay.
That's unfortunate because we all need to be there going, no damage, no damage.
I know. I was gonna look out the balcony, wave at him.
That's what I mean in that central area. You guys were out there as he was skidding across the room.
Oh, okay.
And you watched basically this happen of him getting punted over the rails and just kind of turning around like, oh shit.
I just look at, shake my head, and wave, no damage.
Just okay. A little bit of a, kind of a, basically a, little bit of retcon. Before he starts falling, let's see here. Okay, yeah, he actually had a good roll that time. Before he starts falling with this look of oh shit, he notices you, Dunsen, and points and says in Draconic, basically like you, and he just then plummets like Wile E. Coyote.
I smile and wave.
You have no idea what he said. You just saw pointing in
No,
words.
I've been smiling and waving. I can see
Oh.
this expression on his face, though. I can kind of make that out.
He didn't look too happy when he noticed you falling and loud thud.
Oh,
A
Dunsen
while
loves
later.
this guy.
I feel like
Um,
Ryan feels a little bad about all this, one family man to another.
Dunsen feels not bad at all.
So, all right, as you guys will basically fast forward through breakfast, which is a pretty common kind of breakfast. Nothing too elaborate, but also at the same time not like really like low quality.
So I'm gonna cock my eyebrow. Dunsen's gonna cock his eyebrow and look at Raine and get Raine and go. So you win no damage, eh?
Ugh, it's not what it seems. I just
Oh.
woke up and he was in my bed.
With that creature, I bet nothing's as it seems.
Ugh. I like glare at him and then begrudgingly ask for like ale for breakfast.
Okay. Well, like I said, you guys go through your breakfast. Generally not. Most are not alcoholic breakfast. Drinks generally, but
No mimosas?
at your behest of an awkward night, yeah, if you request it, they would, but not normally. But anyways, as you are, given your meal, Raine, not a very heavy alcoholic drink, so no need to roll Constitution on this.
Okay.
It's a pretty light alcoholic drink that's generally given out if partaking of requests of breakfast.
I'd say the breakfast blend, but the breakfast beer they serve around here is like 11 proof. So
Well, yeah. Anyways, uh, yeah. So as you guys, like I said, finish up your breakfast, as more patrons seem to be coming in, coming in, kind of filling out. Some seem to be getting in their own kind of, clusters and such. What would you guys like to do?
Uh,
Should we
Uh,
check how your boyfriend did on your tunnel?
sure. Let's go check on the tunnel.
oh,
Uh,
we should check on the big hole in the side of the city too.
Which hole? I forget.
The actual tunnel. He's making a bad joke.
Uh, uh,
okay. So, so you guys are planning on taking a look at what was done. Uh, so you're basically leaving the establishment and going where Zadu and them dug this area out.
mhm.
Okay. All right. By the way, Bubba, what do you mean by rolling to see if the commotion's ended?
That was a while ago. That was why things were taking place in the room because I was hoping to go see my friend. No damage. That was a while ago.
Okay. Sorry, I thought that was more recent. Sorry. All right. So, you guys managed to proceed, making your way down, down the flights. Eventually making your way down to the bottom floor. Um, seems to be a different Goliath bouncer though here at the door. Basically, doesn't look like to be Dawnbreaker. Very similar, but not quite. Um, but still very close to the same mannerisms as Dawnbreaker. Um,
How
the
much blood is on the floor and the walls?
um, they have certain areas basically marked off for not sitting here, as the barmaids seem to be more rather than serving, taking care of last time's issues. Uh,
Because the third floor wasn't as spectacular as we hoped, I think, but it's gotta be amazing compared to what's going on down here.
Oh yeah, it's a real shit show down here. There, just kind of looking around, you can definitely see like blood splatters and stuff on tables. Um, whew. Sitting here like I'm glad I wasn't here for this whole entire ordeal. Um, this area, this part seems due to that seems to be running probably at a bit lower of a capacity. It seems like mostly the people who are coming in are on the next two floors. This bottom floor seems to be more kind of temporarily closed.
That
Uh,
we're able to get down, right? It's just not in service. Like they're not receiving any customers, kind of thing.
yeah, kind of. No, it's kind of like down for cleaning.
Oh, okay.
A nice, as well as a dive like this establishment cleaning could be. Yeah. Which means probably making sure that the blood isn't at least on the tables. I mean, might be some blood stains left on the floor, but that is what it is.
That's part of the character. It's like the peanut shells on the floor of a bar.
Yeah, or a roadhouse or something. Yeah. All right. You guys easily make your way over to uh, basically where the tunnel was dug out.
Wait,
Um,
Hesper, before we get to the tunnel, I can go ahead and give Odie a shot.
oh, okay, yeah. We'll go ahead and go on break then, real quick, before we worry about the tunnel stuff. Then.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah. Uh, you know, go ahead, go on break, get a drink. Guess don't really need to get snacks and stuff like that because the one who would need that is not here today.
I need
And
snacks.
well, okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Because generally when we
Way
start,
to
it's like
assume, Hesper. Way to
I'm
assume.
full of shrimp.
anywho. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of Bella while we're doing this, so
Okay.
I'll be back
I'll
as
be right
well.
back.
Alrighty. Now that we're back, so we'll go ahead and proceed to you guys heading back to the area that should be now tunneled by Zedu and his little, well, maybe little's not the right word, but his kobold clan.
They're small but
Is
plentiful.
Yeah, well, kind of have to be plentiful when you get in all kinds of crazy shenanigans that kobolds can do.
Like
Yeah,
sneaking
apparently.
into people's rooms.
Under the covers, like the Grudge.
I mean,
I
y'all,
know.
you're the one that slept with them, so
I did not do it consensually.
maybe
Anyways,
true.
um, as you guys make your way over, you notice, you notice probably what would be basically the silhouette of Zedu, and probably about 6 other kobolds. Some weird looking contraption. Not quite sure what the hell that is. You'd have to get closer to figure that out. And a couple of taller humanoid figures seem to be standing nearby. Uh, as you know, this is just what you guys notice at a distance. Going to proceed closer, or
Yeah, let's proceed closer.
okay. So you guys get closer. You notice that the couple of figures that are standing around, um, two appear to be dwarven, and two appear to be humans. And like I said, you notice about 5 other kobolds around with Zedu, and the humanoids as you get closer um, don't seem to be very pleased. As you draw closer, um,
Oh, they're guards,
you
aren't they?
you hear Zedu kind of you notice Zedu kind of notice you guys and go, yes, shady trinket lady, she fix.
Kind of like move my head to the side, kind of confused, and then continue my approach to see like why they're upset.
Okay, is he says this, you guys are approaching the few humanoids turn towards you guys, and they seem to be very upset about something, as they seem to be uh staring at you guys with mm, disapproval, and
Hesper, how are they dressed?
not fancy, kind of.
Well, there
um
wouldn't be guards down here. I mean,
Yeah.
Dunsen would know. Dunsen would know about it. This is the black market, so
yeah, and they don't look like some kind of like bouncer or enforcement or something like that the
These are just like
uh
regular people.
yeah, probably more along the lines of like merchants and workers.
Okay.
I just cock my eyebrow and look at Raine, saying, "Oh, it looks like your boyfriend brought more people to the party."
I clear my voice and I approach them and be like, "What seems to be the problem?"
One of the dwarfs, I mean, they can all kind of look at each other real quick, and one of the dwarfs seems to be the one who pipes up, and um, it's a female dwarf. Once you notice her talking, you know, wasn't easy to tell quite at first, but after a little while, you understood that it was female. Um, Mostly because the reason why it's a little hard to tell, the difference between male dwarfs and female dwarfs is at first glance is you thought at first it was a younger dwarf, and the kind of the facial hair, she's kind of seems to like have mutton chops started.
So
Um,
less facial hair.
yeah, it's facial hair that's a little throwing off at first, of between a young dwarf and a female dwarf, basically, as she, seems to be like, "Oi, so who's going to pay for all this then?
Pay for what?
Our tools." As
What
she
happened to
kind of,
your tools?
as she kind of says that, Zedu's kind of like, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble." As he's kind of looking
Oh, he
away.
used someone else's tools.
Well, and as you get closer, you notice that there's this weird. What the hell is that? Aster, are you grinding something?
Oh, you can hear that? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I couldn't even hear anything.
I heard like shuffle, shuffle.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was me.
You're... Anyways, going back, let's see here. You guys notice that there seems to be a very odd contraption. Um, it's kind of ramshackly. You know, looks like it's functional, but it looks like it's kind of thrown together as the you know the it looks kind of probably something that these kobolds threw together, and kind of looks like maybe a drill, or an auger or something like that. It's just very. You guys really haven't seen something like this before. Um, and uh,
Is it
yeah,
still functional?
it's sitting. It's not if it's functional, it's not on.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna ask the dwarf. Did they happen to combine all of your tools to make this contraption? It seems.
I And
Wouldn't
you
be.
notice, like, looking at the drill and stuff like that, it looks like they've broken off and taken like pick heads and stuff like that, and somehow crammed them in here to kind of tear away and eat at the dirt
Mm-hmm.
or the rock. And yeah, it's just very awkward. It's very interesting at the very least.
So my
Effective, I guess.
answer for you is that we paid uh Zedu here very good money to dig this tunnel. And well, he should be able to pay for the destruction of your equipment.
As you're talking about this, Zanu is giving you a glare like, "Shut up!"
I
Yeah.
Yeah, I nod to Zedu and I say, "My brother has a point. We paid you for the services, and you did not tell us that you were going to steal instruments to complete this."
Well, I mean, he seems kind of flabbergasted, and eventually he's like, you know, uh, it takes him a while to get the words put together in his head, but he goes, you know, at first Glenn work, but then Streeb, as he points over at another kobold, have idea, and idea good, idea make long time, not long time.
Yeah, but at what cost?
Uh, he's kind of looking at you like, please help me out. Don't make me lose the horde that I've been trying to work towards.
I turn to the dwarf and I kind of sigh and I'm like, what would you estimate the price would be to reimburse you for the tools?
Hi. Well, at least they weren't able to get their hands on the good quality merchandise of mine. These fellows here, who are more along the lines of workers and stuff, some of their stuff was salvageable. They just used to put together this monstrosity. Um, Probably all together for all of us. She's kind of looking back and forth between them. 75 gold.
Okay, I kind of scratch my head and I'll be like, that sounds reasonable. And then I hand her over 75 gold.
All right. Their expressions seem to lighten by this, and she goes, "I this should about cover it. Much obliged. Um, I just hope they don't use that monstrosity on anything else down here, though, as they seem to take the 75 gold and make their way back to whence they came. Um, you know, and now, yeah, at this point, Zedu looks relieved, but Zedu and this one that he kind of announced is Shreeb. They
Mhm.
seem to be bickering at each other in Draconic now.
What are
Um,
they saying?
you know, uh, essentially along the lines of basically Zedu is basically telling Shreeb, you're playing good, but you endanger clan's horde, and Shreeb, who looks a lot different than a lot of the other kobolds that you've seen around here and stuff like that. She has they seem to have a very dirty, raggy apron, a pair of cracked goggles placed upon their forehead, and around where the chest is wrapped in cloth a couple of times around. And Shreep kind of has a higher pitched tone voice, and Shreep seems to be talking to Zedu about you know you know basically her argument or their argument is if not for Cobalt Tunneler version 2, then we be here long time. Definitely worth. Um, you know, possibly, possible, you know, shiny trinket lady, give us more.
Not after this, though. I kind of whispered to myself, like,
So yeah, they seem to be having this little argument between each other. You guys really haven't investigated the tunnel that they've dug out so far, but or the tunnel that they've dug out, but yeah, it seems like Zedu kind of got clan leader or whatever is arguing with this kind of inventory tinkering kind of kobold. Like I said, whose name is Schneeb.
All right, I think Ryan's getting a headache from the I would assume the nails on chalkboard conversation that's going on in front of him.
Or might as well be close to it, yeah.
Yeah. So he's gonna bend over and just be like, "Okay, which one of you is the leader?"
Uh, Zedu points at himself, and Schneeb points over at Zedu.
Then you listen to Zedu. What he says goes.
This one, Schneeb, which you don't know their name. The only one who, well, actually, no, because he did say that in common there, right? Yeah. So, you're assuming it's Schneeb,
I
but
didn't say their name.
yeah, I know, but I'm just telling you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, this other kobold to you, uh, seems to kind of cross their arms, kind of get in a huff, and just kind of like fine kind of look,
Mhm.
just very like you know not happy with the turn of events, but I guess they're willing uh to I guess essentially quit squabbling at the moment.
I have sowed the seeds of mutiny.
So Zedu then kind of clears out his throat a little bit and is like so he kind of like with a show of like ta-da with his hands, and is just kind of like, you know, uh, you know, tunnel made, path clear.
I'll be like, okay, good job, but don't expect any more money because of the aftermath of what you did.
He kind of looks over at Shreve. He's just kind of like, see, and she's just kind of like, just very like huffy at the moment. And yeah, so you're essentially looking at this and looking at the tunnel. You realize the tunnel is kind of kobold sized.
Of
The
course it
tunnel's what?
is.
Kobold size. So it's like instead of like a usual, about 6 feet or so, this is like a 3 foot hole.
Oh, so we have to crawl.
So that drill rig is like super tiny then?
It's not huge, no. Um,
I guess we didn't specify.
Yeah, we didn't specify the size of the tunnel.
So wait, it was like a cave in and there was like rubble and stuff, right?
mm-hmm.
So they just drilled like a solid, just straight through hole through that?
Yeah,
How did
and
it not collapse?
as you look inside, you notice that it is held up. I mean, it doesn't look
They got
pretty.
some like wood slats on the sides or something.
Yeah, it looks like, like what a mine shaft would look like. It's just very, very small. Um, though it looks like it, you'd have to go at a slower pace because you're crawling through it, but it does look like it should accommodate you guys without having to squeeze through it.
I'm game.
Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just go in.
Ryan takes off his fine clothes and folds them up and hands them to Remy to put in his pants sack.
Okay. Okay.
Who's going in first?
Did you volunteer, Remy?
Yeah, I think I'm the smallest anyway, so.
Yeah.
Well,
But you're also probably the thickest.
Shouldn't we make sure our buddy no damage goes first in case he ultimately made the tunnel on purpose?
Well, I mean, I did give him lots of money, so I would hope it isn't, but yeah, I guess let me word it. Why don't you, because you did such a great tunnel, why don't you lead us through it to show us the fruit of your labor?
Yeah, give us the... Oh, wait, I can't understand her. Give us the guided tour, Zedu.
He kind of looks over at the others real quick, and then he looks up at you, and he kind of like you know kind of holds out his hands, and tells you, promise. You,
Promise?
you make promise.
Make promise on what?
Give back.
Give back what? I paid you in full.
It's the ring.
Oh, the no damage ring.
Is he saying this in Draconic, or does
Yeah,
Dunsen
they're speaking in Draconic right now. Dunsen does not hear this.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn to Dunsen and say, they're not gonna lead us through the tunnel unless you give back that ring.
I'm gonna cock my eyebrow and say, all I have to do is get back the ring?
Yeah.
Does it? So I just have to give it back. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, yes, that we promised we'd give back.
Okay,
Ryan lets out a long sigh and is just like, be nice, Dunsen.
I furrow my... I crack a smile and I cock eyebrows like, I'll give it back. Let him know.
Well, he's just kind of sitting. He if you're speaking in common, he understands, and he's turning towards you, and his hands are open, waiting for you to put it in his hands.
So I have the ring, and I'm tossing it up a little bit. Your precious no damage, right? Here you go. And I hand it to him. And as he grabs it, I want to punch him. Just a little bit. As he has it in his hand, I want to punch him.
I thought you were going to shove it down his throat.
So I'm going to give it to him. As I give it to him, as he puts it in his hand, I'm going to hold it, and then I'm going to deck him once, and then see what happens. And
All
then,
right, roll me a strength check. Since
oh man, please be like a 20.
Don't kill him.
I can't kill him. I'm like not a very strong person. Just the strength button, right?
yeah, just strength because you're not proficient in.
I really don't want to hurt him too much. That's not my intention.
You go to swing, and he notices this, and manages to skitter out of the way, and seems to kind of like kind of hiss at you a bit. And in Draconic, he basically says, "No trust, Woodman."
Oh,
You'll be in the front of the group as you lead us through the tunnel, and he'll be in the back. Glares at Dunsen.
How no he no block?
I personally will keep him from blocking you. I will block the blocker.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Now, question: are you assuming that I was going to give it to him because I was holding his hand as I went to do this? So did he skitter away from me and got out of my grip? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, do you still have the ring in your hand?
Because what I did, because I went to give it to him.
That wasn't clear.
Hand.
Yeah, I thought you put the ring in his hand, and as he was looking at it, you went to go swing.
No, I went to hell.
Yeah.
No. As I put it, I grabbed his hand.
one of my Zyrtec.
Roll me a sleight of hand check then.
Okay, I don't want to make sure he gets it.
Okay, yeah, he was unable to get the ring from you. As after he says, no trust Woodman, he also goes, Woodman, break promise.
I'm gonna sit there. It's like, all right, no damage, and I'm gonna toss him the ring. Laughing. That's what I'm gonna do. Laughing.
Okay, how far out are you tossing the ring?
How far away is he?
He's probably about a good 20 feet away from you at the moment.
Man, and I wish I had something I could substitute this with, but I don't. Damn. Well. Yeah, I mean, I'm tossing it to him, so either he catches it or he doesn't.
Okay. So you toss the ring. He seems suspicious at first because he doesn't know what you're throwing at him until it lands on the ground, and he slowly
Do I have the monk
walks
ability
in.
that allows me to catch projectiles? I don't remember.
If it's thrown at you, I think it's either you have it or you don't.
Oh, okay. I have deflect missiles.
Yeah, that's the catch ability. And it has to be directed at you.
Okay.
So, unless you're planning on trying, unless you're standing next to Dunsen, you catch it as he's throwing it, and then, are you wanting to try something like that?
Yeah. Okay. I'll catch it. Yeah, as he's throwing it. What do I do?
Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand. Okay.
22. Yeah, as Dunsen goes to throw the ring, you manage to snatch it out of the air from him.
I will walk over and gently place it in the kobold's grasp.
Okay. He's a little skitterish after that, but he seems to trust you a hell of a lot more than he does Dunsen.
That's the plan.
He takes the ring. He's doesn't seem to be he seems to be keeping eye contact on Dunsen, occasionally looking at you.
As he's looking at me, I got a dagger out and just playing with it in my hand, flipping it nonchalantly.
Okay, so yeah, and then I'll use that persuasion check. He kind of nods. He goes, fine. Me take through tunnel. You keep Woodman far away.
Sounds
basically he's telling you to keep Woodman away from him. He doesn't
Okay.
want anything to do with Dunsen anymore.
I'm gonna say look at him. It's like, why scared? You have no damage.
He's just glaring at you. He is not happy. And I forgot to mention this. When you took a swing at Zedu and such, one of the kobolds started taking off. You're not sure if that kobold is running to go get the rest of the group or not.
This is so amazing.
Dunsen, but you fucking deserve it. I just hope Zedu will put in a good word for me. I've been nothing but kind to this creature.
Yeah, he doesn't seem. He seems to be okay with. The easiest one he seems like to get along with is Raine, and that's probably because she speaks his language.
Yeah.
And paid him like 400 or 300.
And so generously shared her bed with him.
Apparently, yeah.
So it's okay. Dunsen has no love for him because he knows that he tried to swindle him. So
yeah. I feel like we're all getting to know Dunsen's true character at this point.
The spiteful dwarf,
Yeah.
So it takes a you guys get ready. Zedu, has the ring. He pockets it. Kind of motions for you guys to follow. Like I said, since this tunnel's about 3 feet tall, he's able to keep a good stride going along and stuff like that. Occasionally, he turns around. I'm guessing, oh, probably. Well, it doesn't really matter so much on the order. It's a very cozy tunnel. I'll tell you that much for sure. But it's not so tight that you're having to squeeze.
Okay.
As you guys go through the tunnel, Zedu. I'm guessing probably it rains at the front since Zedu is probably most comfortable with rain. As eventually you guys for what feels like quite a while as you guys have to crawl through this tunnel. Feel like you guys have probably gone like 200 feet or so through this tunnel, and a couple of turns here and there in the tunnel, until eventually you guys find yourselves in a. Let's see here. Do I have? Yep. We'll go ahead and change the map.
Hey!
As you guys kind of
neato.
find yourselves into a fairly large chamber, a lot more structured, and an occasional setup of rails, which you're assuming is used for carts. This chamber that you guys are in is a fairly decent sized chamber, lit up with well, there seems to be places for torches, but most of the light seems to be coming from the same luminescent mushrooms that you saw in the black market area. As you guys emerge from the tunnel, I'm guessing Ryan, you're keeping Dunsen away from Zedu.
Yes.
As Zedu
and-
kind of makes
and
his way back over to the tunnel.
And just so you're knowing, at no point is Dunsen. Dunsen's not antagonizing any situation, so he's not making any further things to go after this little thing. So
Well, Zedu's just not. He's keeping an eye on you.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
aware.
done
I'm
with
fully,
you. Yeah.
I'm fully aware. So, but
And,
don't think that Dunsen's trying to antagonize by getting any closer at all. So he's not.
Yeah, and eventually he makes it to the tunnel. Back to the entrance of the tunnel after you guys have all emerged, and you know, he kind of looks at you guys and goes, basically he goes, I go now, and he like turns away and skitters back down the tunnel. Uh, you know, as you guys are now in this giant looks like a mining, like I said, a mining chamber. There's a set of rails that you're assuming mine carts would be pushed into to collect materials. There seems to be some tools strewn about, just kind of left here from the last time that the miners might have been down in this area. It looks like it's been quite a while as dust and webbing has, cobwebbing has formed on these materials. You're assuming the mines might have been closed down as soon as this pandemic hit. As
Hesper, question for you.
Mhm.
Now, you said, are we still in range, since we're technically not in the black market at black whatever anymore? Are we still in range that these collars are still able to work, or how would we be able to check that? Because now we kind of went a distance and through a giant cavernous thingy, so.
Yeah, the collars still seem to be active, and the collars don't seem to have created their shock on you guys.
Has it created shock?
As you guys were warned that if you guys tried to leave with them on, they would shock you.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I want to do something just to make sure, because this is the way we came in with the tunnel. Since we noticed that, all right, I'm gonna put alarm right in this tunnel range, right in the end of this tunnel to make sure.
Alarm. You try to perform it. By the way, you're supposed to be at full slots, Bubba.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was just wondering on that.
Yeah. You attempt to summon forth the magic, and it is not coming to you. These collars still seem to be active on you.
Okay, then what I want to do, I don't know how this will work. I'm assuming a cave will be echoey enough, and I'm going to try it just because. I'm going to tie string to a bell and try to make like a little tripwire on it.
Okay. Were
So,
you putting in front of that little tunnel?
yeah, in front of the tunnel.
Okay.
So,
So it takes you a little while, but you do get this set up.
okay. Okay. I don't know how big my bell is, so I'm going to hope it makes noise in this giant, quiet cavern. So,
It's probably about, it's not a huge bell, but it's not tiny either. It's
okay.
probably about, I would say at most maybe like a 2-inch bell.
Okay, I have an idea then. Then I want, I'm going to tell Sir Squeakers, because I don't trust that kobold. I'm going to tell him to stay in the vicinity of earshot for him, not in line of sight that anybody can come through and notice him scampering off to come warn me. So I'm going to let him know, it's like, hey, I want you to sit here and listen for a bell. If that bell goes off, you come find. Stay out of sight. So I don't want him any way possible being discovered by them. So
Okay. As soon as you get done conveying this message, he has a pretty good idea of what you're talking about, and scampers away and kind of like nestles himself under some, like in and around some mining equipment that has been left behind.
Do you want to
He's
also tell him like, hey, if you don't hear anything from me again, just like come follow my scent after like 20 minutes?
um,
So you don't just leave him here?
oh, I'm going to make sure I come and get him.
Oh, okay.
I ain't leaving him here. So I'm. Well, yeah,
Okay.
well, because either way, I mean, unless we know there's an exit. So
well, you're sure from this and the way that the tracks are set up and stuff. There has to be an exit out of this area. It's you know it looks like
I
before all
kind of
this
think we
happened.
need to find
I'm
somebody
gonna
to get our collars off.
I'm gonna convey to him. Yeah, I'm gonna tell him, try to convey to him hour, but I'm sure Dunsen has a way of relaying some sort of time to him. I don't know exactly, but that the mouse can understand, and then tell him to follow the scent.
Okay.
Find me. So
But yeah, he's pretty. I mean, granted, he is a white mouse, but he does manage to hide himself pretty well. Kind of, dusting himself with like some of the cave dust and stuff, and kind of not browning, graying his fur a little bit and stuff. He seems to blend pretty well in with the rocks.
okay.
Like a
I've
little
trained my mice
mouse.
well. They're good at. Well, he's the 14th of his line, so he's trained well. Okay.
So after an hour, they'll come and find you, or try to hunt you down by tracking you through scent. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So what are you guys wanting to do?
As a player, I kind of just feel like we'll get like halfway into this mine or something and like have our collars go off. But like we're probably not going to leave through here. I feel like we're going to leave back through the tunnel where we came once we have the spring water.
Yeah. Well, I guess it all really depends on how dangerous you think these mines might be. Because I mean, from what you've been told, it's probably been about a month or so that they've been inactive. So who knows what creatures have managed to dig their way through the earth to find this and claim it as their new home with as these mines have been inactive.
Yeah,
AKA, here comes our first battle.
You
yeah,
guys are a
like
very
honestly,
magic heavy party.
yeah, that's the thing. Is like I don't know how comfortable I feel like getting into a major fight without magic. My character's definitely like built around using magic
Well,
in combat.
if you guys ever find a way to get the collars off, at least you know another way into the mines now, and you know where this leads.
Yeah.
So if you guys wanted to, you guys could turn back and head back and try to figure something else out in the black market or leave through the black market.
Do we see any signs of water?
In this chamber, no. It's other than the occasional dripping that you hear from the ceiling, no formidable puddles, like pools of water, I should say, like no natural springs or anything. Just seems to be like ice and snow that might have melted, seeping through the earth and dripping down here.
The usual cave sweat.
Yeah, basically cave sweat.
uh, Ryan has had one too many near-death experiences lately. I think he is going to advocate towards us turning around and seeing if we can get these collars removed.
Okay,
Okay.
I am in agreement.
All right. I will remind you that you, everybody roll me an intelligence check, by the way.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Just seeing on how well you remember.
Oh boy.
Wait,
Okay.
jeez.
Okay. Mostly Remy who remembers this is like,
Good.
wait, wasn't there something about some kind of fuzzy people or something back at the bar that we were meaning to find that we never did?
Uh,
We forgot something.
All right. Well, since we didn't go too far, and I know we're not going in, I am gonna go ahead and pick up my bell. I'm gonna pick up my
Okay.
string and make a little noise to get Squeakers back.
Okay, he hears your little usual call to bring him back, and he comes gallivanting up and calling up your pant leg and stuff to perch upon your shoulder, ready to go.
I give him a little
Cle-
crumb from a ration.
yeah, cleaning the dust off of him, nibbling on the crumb,
Oh, he's the best.
um, getting yeah ready for his free ride on your shoulder and such as you guys get ready, or in your cloak or whatever wherever he stays. Um, I guess we'll just expedite this as you guys manage to crawl once again back through the tunnel, and basically come out to basically the only thing that's left in this area seems to be that device that was made. You're assuming that the kobolds will probably come and collect it when there's more of them.
I would like to dust my ninja gear off.
Okay,
And then, Remy, may I have my clothes back?
Sure can.
proceeding to redress and
Yes.
All right, we'll just expedite that real quick, and yeah, you guys. Well, so what would you guys like to do?
Head back
Fine.
over to Kitty Place.
Okay, so you guys are heading back over to the tavern. Okay. Still the first floor is cleaning up. Like I said, different Goliath kind of bouncer standing in front. As opposed to Dawnbreaker, who you saw with two giant axes, this guy has basically massive like metal gauntlets that towards the fingers look like that they're just big ass fucking like knuckle dusters.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he looks like if he gets into a fight, he's knocking all your teeth out. As he seems to be standing there, not quite as big as Dawnbreaker, a little bit smaller, but not by much.
Arms like tree trunks, I bet.
Yeah, very similar in appearance. Like it's eerie. They both, this guy and Dawnbreaker might be related.
Okay.
But anyways,
I will
is
show him the top of my palm held makeup brush
okay.
and
He
just say,
he
what do they call you?
um roll me a persuasion check.
No being nice for you.
He looks over at you, seems a little bit grudging, but finally tells you, you know, uh, he kind of nods the let you go by as you're kind of saying that as you go by. He, kind of gruff and stuff. He tells you his name is Dusk Slayer.
I knew it. I knew it'd be something dusk related.
So, you're assuming probably named looks, probably siblings of some
Yeah,
kind, maybe.
probably a bro.
Um,
All right, so I'm
yeah.
through bouncer number 1.
Yeah, and I'm assuming as the rest of you show your credentials and stuff, he just kind of gives you like a quick like head nod, his arms crossed, you know. Um, Seems to be menacing, but at the same time, you have what he's looking for. He's not going to stop you. As he, like I said, proceeds for you guys to go up to the second floor. Um, then I'm assuming you guys are going to go past the second floor. Um, Different goblins, still very much the same kind of look. He thinks he looks dapper, but it's still kind of a not the best looking vest or whatever, but
Uh,
presentable for a goblin.
uh, is anybody scowling at me here?
Scowling at you?
I committed a crime on this floor.
Oh, that's right.
Oh no!
Way to remind him.
I
There
know.
you go.
That's right.
He's had such a good memory about everything else.
Yep. Actually, you kind of take a look back there, and there seems to be a locksmith working on that door that you gummed up.
Okay, we're gonna hurry up to the next floor.
Okay, yeah, you notice that, and you're like, shit.
Yeah,
And,
I have my cloak on, by the way.
as you make your way to the next one, the goblin kind of looks at you and goes, credentials, please.
Yeah, I pull out my brush again.
Okay. As you all show the credentials, he unhooks the rope and gives you guys a wave of the arm to head on upstairs. As you guys manage to basic. Well, he's a little different. He's wearing a cloak. He's more covered up by his cloak, so he's
Yeah.
harder to perceive.
Yeah.
But you don't know. You could have given the guy brain damage for all we know.
Mm-hmm.
As as you make your way up to the third floor. Like I said, it's definitely a nicer floor as groups of people seem to be more in huddles and such. Kind of cloistering your groups and stuff. A little bit less individuals as opposed to like the floor below. You're assuming that these are probably more than likely groups, like thieving groups and stuff that probably didn't quite make it to be stonecutters like you guys didn't, but at the same time function more as groups rather than like more individualistic or teams of two or whatever that you saw on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
As you make your way up to this third floor and taking a look around, what would you guys like to do?
Our bartender again on the third floor.
Yeah, who? The bartender is that dark skinned, basically white platinum hair elf.
Okay. I'm gonna run up to her and be like, "You're a sight for sore eyes. Can I have a drink? And what time do you get off?"
Uh,
She's got
She-
This is the same one who's already not very impressed with us, I think.
she's erasing a memory.
yeah, she's not. Yeah, this is the exact same one that you talked to before the night before, and she looks ragged.
Oh no, she needs a break. You need a break. Let me get you a drink and help you out here.
I'll be fine when the person who's supposed to come and take over my shift comes.
When do they come over and take over your shift?
Hopefully sooner rather than later.
I can totally help you bust some tables.
That's nice, but at the same time, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Stonecutter did tell us to be useful, so.
She seems very kind of like she doesn't want you to do something, and then somehow it seems to get up to him, and it's like, oh great, I had him do kind of this menial work and stuff like that, and yeah, so she seems very against the idea.
Well, I won't tell if you don't tell.
Oh, it's not you that I'm worried about. It's you know, if others, especially those who would prefer to have my station, knew, then I mean, honestly, for the most part, it's a nice cushy gig, and I'd prefer not to lose it if I don't have to.
Fair enough. Is there anything I could do to ease your evening then?
Well, this is kind of like I said, this is morning, not evening.
Oh, I guess, yeah, morning then.
Just keep your orders simple
Okay,
and your questions.
fair enough. I'm gonna walk off for a few minutes. Give me a moment, and I'm gonna walk off to my siblings and be like, let's leave the bartender alone for a little while. We can ask around though for, what was it, the furry what?
The tabaxi.
Yeah. I don't think our bartender is gonna be helpful for that information.
Okay. Well, if you guys are gonna do that, I will need perception checks from whoever's kind of doing this.
I
Roux
would like
seems
to
be just
scan the area for furry people.
all right. Roux just kind of seems to be very kind of in her, just kind of quiet, just kind of going along with things. Seems to be thinking about something, but that's about it. Okay. We just
Watching the bartender.
okay. Oh, so you're just watching the bartender. You're not looking for furry people.
No.
Okay. Okay. So Ryan, I mean, not Ryan. Remy is the first one to finally find them. It's actually a pretty good clustering. There's three that look similar and one that looks somewhat like what you described the find, but somewhat different. Um, they seem to be out on the balcony, kind of on part of the balcony that curves around and basically kind of more isolated by itself. On the balcony, kind of basically not open to the balcony to the main room. There's basically the wall from next to where the bar is, and then the rest of the balcony kind of sticking out that way. They're kind of back in that kind of like little corner and stuff. The one that looks a little weird seems to be leaning up against the wall, arms crossed in front of him, and the other three seem to be sitting at a table and chatting to one another.
So first things first. As kind of a group, do we want to tell these people the truth about who we are? The reason for that is Hesper brought up that people here might not look too kindly on the rival underground family of another town. Basically,
I think we should keep that secret then.
Well, you got to
but
remember too.
we have to come up for a story with a story then of why we're looking for knives.
Well, if you knew that you're, the working, if these guys are working with this person that you're looking for, there
Then they
might be
would
a
know all about
possibility.
it. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just say honesty is the best policy for this. Because otherwise we'd have to make up a story and it's turtles all the way down.
Do not say that I'm a guard.
Got it.
That would be very bad.
You might just want to like stay out of this, man.
Okay.
I think I'll do most of the talking. I want to talk to the one who is alone.
He's not, and looking at him, it's definitely kind of a male figure.
Yeah.
He's not really alone. He's just more propped up on the wall, kind of keeping surveillance and not chatting like the other three are among themselves. And the way that they're positioned, if anybody approached, all three of them would notice because none of them their backs are facing towards. Basically, none of them have their backs facing towards the only way towards them.
Okay, I'll talk to the three guys who are already chatting then.
Okay. As you make your way up, looking at them, they the three at the table talking to each other. The closer you get, and especially when they realize you and look up and trying to figure out what you're doing, looking at them, they seem to have more feminine features than masculine features.
Okay.
The one leaning up against the wall seems a little odd, definitely a bit bulkier, and a lot of like fur that kind of runs around the neckline. It sticks out from the neck. Oh, hey, oops, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, so I just don't know what the hell happened right now.
Yeah.
Time for Windows update.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, kind of fur that comes out of the neckline that seems to run up the head, creating kind of like this giant, yeah.
But female.
No, this one's masculine.
Okay.
The one leaning against the wall is masculine. The other three are more feminine.
Got it.
Now, you don't know if the three sitting there are more feminine males, but definitely the one leaning up against the wall is very
okay. So as I'm
masculine.
walking up to them, they're already like looking at me. Do they start conversation or?
They seem interested. The male turns and looks towards you, and he kind of gives you a look of "Don't try anything fucking stupid or you're dead."
Got it. Okay. So hello, pleased to meet your acquaintance. My name is Ryan of the Despero family of Feldnitz. You might have heard of us.
As you kind of say Despero, they kind of seem to look at one another, and they kind of seem like they know something. It's not very hard to they're not really hiding this aspect.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. And I was hoping I could ask a few questions about a missing person, but also just like to get to know you, get the lay of the land a little bit here.
All right. The one that's kind of like more in the center, kind of motions for you to sit down, and you definitely, when they start speaking, you can definitely tell it's definitely a female. She
Mm-hmm.
goes,
I sit.
she goes, please sit. Join me and my sisters and our companion.
I do so.
Did any of the rest of you go with Ryan, or you? I know Dunsen didn't. I guess Dunsen and Roux, I guess, are just kind of sitting by themselves in the bar. I don't know about Ryan and Remy and Raine.
I followed Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go
Uh,
too.
okay. So, as all three of you, she motions for all three of you to, take it, well, there's only one chair sitting there, but motions for you to get other chairs and sit. Um, as you guys sit down, she goes, okay, well, uh, I am Ruby Eyes. This here, and she points to her left, and you know, Ruby Eyes seems to kind of uh, she's wearing kind of a light medium armor, kind of like studded leather. Um, Seems to have a cloak and something on a chain that seems to be tucked into into underneath the chest area of what armor she's wearing. Um, the clothing underneath seems a little bit more uh like a nice fabrics and stuff like that. And not you know not anything too flashy or anything like that. Kind of almost vestment like. As she points over to your left, she goes, "This is my one of my sisters, two swallows." You notice
What?
two swallows.
The birds, not the.
Yeah, not swallowing, but yeah, the bird swallows. She seems to be she has basically equivalent to a longbow on her back, and she's wearing compared to her sister like heavier armor. It's definitely like uh equivalent to half plate, and seems to have a sword on her side, and she motions over to her right, and this is my other sister, Hushed Ink, and this one is and they're all pretty similar to each other. They're all kind of this um this orangish color, like dark orangish with kind of uh blackened stripes on their as a fur pattern. Um, Hushed Ink is wearing something equivalent to robes. A kind of like a dark blue, midnighty kind of blue robes, with a hood that seems to somewhat obscure part of her face. Ears sticking out of a couple of holes cut up in the top, and I guess she probably is the oddball out of the sisters, considering that she seems to be wearing like some glasses of some sort. And then she finally motions towards the awkward looking male compared to them. You're like, okay, he looks a lot bulkier and definitely quite a bit different. And this is our compatriot. we never really found out his real name, so we just call him Snapping Bones. And he just, seems to kind of give you guys like kind of a, stare. Once again, it's kind of along the lines of don't do anything or I will fuck your shit.
I get the picture.
So from the Despero family, I understand then.
Yeah. I'll cut to the chase. We're looking for one of our compatriots of our own named Knives.
Ah, Glinting Blade.
Yes.
Yes. Well, haven't heard from him in quite a while. He's actually part of our group.
About when did he go missing? Or when did you stop hearing
Oh,
from him?
well, about oh, shortly after all this started happening a month ago, a couple of days afterwards, he told us that he was going to go check on something, and well, let's just say he never, managed to grace us with his presence since. We don't know anything else besides that.
So he disappeared sometime around when the plague started.
Pretty close to it. I mean, it was a couple days after.
That's
So,
interesting because it doesn't directly point to death. We seem to understand it takes about a week for the plague's effects to kick in.
well, like I said, he said he was going to go investigate something. Might I ask you a question?
Go right ahead.
I'm guessing all of you heard Despero or some connection to them. Um, what are you doing here, if you don't mind me asking?
Uh, our father stopped receiving shipments of goods from this town, and we were sent to find out why. And well, I think we found that out now, but now our task is to try to fix it.
Hmm, I see, I see. Well, I mean, it would technically be beneficial for us to resume activities. We did work with Glinting Blade.
Yeah, the more I hear about his situation here in Dunreen, it kind of makes me think everything more or less revolves around him.
It it could be. Like I said, we don't know too terribly much about it. He didn't really fill us in on much. Um, but we do have a couple of his. She seems to be looking back and forth between her sisters. We do seem to have a couple of his effects that might be of use.
Well, I'd certainly be interested in seeing them.
Oh, I'm sure you would, but see, the way that a lot of things work around here, um, what's the best way of putting this? Well, generally, one doesn't generally just tend to get things for free around here. And also at the same time, the more close knit um some become, the more, well, profitable and secure things are. Now, I don't know if you've heard of the Fang and Claw.
I I've heard its name.
Okay, well, that is our group here.
I had a feeling.
And I noticed that you unfortunately have those. Well, how should we put it? Um, Very troublesome. Except for him. I'm guessing he has nothing to do with magic. But, anyways, back to the topic at hand. Basically the. Oh, how do I put this? Um, those collars generally, unless you seem to be trustworthy enough or have a group who is trustworthy enough to essentially claim that mm, that seems to sponsor you. I would say it probably unfortunately take too long to get anything else done down here for you to get the collars off properly, but if you did manage to join a group, you could get those off a lot sooner and be, how shall we say, more free to do what you might need to do around here.
Well,
And then,
I
yeah.
do like where this conversation is going. My question to you is, do I require fangs and claws of my own to join?
Well, it'd be more, I guess, thematically appropriate, but, well, for those who work for Despero or related to him, and how our business transactions have been mutually beneficial, we can probably let that slide.
Appreciated. Uh, so how do I get in on the ground floor of the Fang and Claw?
And what's the price?
What's the price? Well, I kind of personally believe that the better way of going about this isn't so much having you pay your way in as so much as, oh, performing something for us that
That's what I
will,
meant.
well, you could see how I could kind of take payment as the wrong way, but anywho,
I think a chill goes down Ryan's spine at the thought of that.
at the thought of what?
uh, the performance route of joining another syndicate down here. He's already done that once.
Okay, let me see.
No worries, I'll help you out. This time I'll do it.
She seems to look at you and she's like, have I said something wrong? You seem to be going quite pale.
Um, our
Oh,
brother
well,
here.
honesty's the best policy, so you might be wondering how we even got up here in the first place. We kind of had a run in with the stonecutters. Uh,
Uh, and
and I took their thieves gauntlet and
ooh,
passed for the
she,
first time in 20 years, but they still weren't too thrilled with my
uh,
performance.
yeah, it takes quite a bit to get in there. When we first arrived, we attempted such a thing. Didn't go quite as well for us either, but we didn't run his elaborate death trap. Glad to hear that a child of Despero didn't wind up killed from that.
I think I part my hair a little bit and show off my singed locks.
Oh dear, that's nothing compared to what we saw. See, when we came originally to talk to the stonecutter, somebody must have previously tried because they were carting off the charred remains of oh, God knows, well, the gods know what, because that could not be identified anymore.
So, no offense meant by this, but I assume your test is easier.
Ours has more, shall we say, real world applications.
I like the sound of that.
Alright, so I guess if we want to get down to brass
Business?
tacks, business, yes, then basically what we need is see, knives used to do quite a bit of this for us before, well, obviously disappearing, but like we said, we prefer a revenue source that's going to be more a steady stream than just an occasional trickle here and there. And well, due to the knives not being around anymore, and uh, at least not here, um, we need somebody to, oh, how should we say this? Cook the books.
Do you have particular patrons in mind that you'd like for us to approach?
Oh, oh, there's really only one that's really worthwhile, and I hope it's not too much effort, but with knives, he generally tended to affect the ledgers of the court here in Dunreen, and well, as I stated, he hasn't been around for a while, so we haven't really been able to, well, get those to swing more towards our favor, shall we say.
I see.
Well, I was tutored and I'm very skilled in the art of forging documents.
That is definitely a plus to hear. Now, before we go a little bit further on this, may we possibly partake of how you guys are planning? Yeah, she said cooking the books.
Okay, Remy looks very confused.
Uh, well, she seems to continue going for it since Remy really hasn't done much other than sit there. Um, basically, she goes, well, before we divulge anymore, let's hear what possible plans you guys would have to be able to do this.
So we're talking about something in the center of the town above, is that correct?
Pretty much. That would it would essentially be. Oh, I'm not quite sure which building it was because I never went with him. But one of the buildings there would have essentially the access to accounting to basically tax collection and such, and for the for the city and how the taxes are spent.
Well, I actually, well, we've got a little bit of a relationship going with some of the guards up there, and perhaps with a little social engineering, we can learn what building that is, and
Mhm.
from there, I assume I'll have access to my magics again. I can do a bunch of I can do some teleporting, some sneaking. I have a grappling hook now.
She looks at you very confused when you're like, "I got a grappling hook now." Like, wait.
We had a rough time when we entered the town. Lost a
Okay.
couple of articles of importance.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Well, that sounds like it's okay, but how do you plan on getting into the city, into the town central?
Uh,
We were hoping to see if there is possible hidden tunnel from here to the center of town.
Mm, the only tunnel that I really know of from here, and like I said, I don't know how Knives used to do it. Granted, you know, as you've noticed up top, not very many of us up there. Anywho, not sure how he used to do it, but I definitely know that there's only the two tunnels. The one that leads out towards the close by the Hang the Laughing Man in the lower district of Dunreen, and then the tunnel that leads out into the forest surrounding Dunreen.
Could you point to that? Point on our map the tunnel that leads out to Dunreen, because we eventually need to go to the forest to gather some materials as part of our assigned quest.
Um, on the map, you really wouldn't see it on the map because it's down there. The tunnel entrance you actually saw, it's pretty close by the inn. It was that one tunnel that was guarded by the bugbear and the hobgoblin.
Hmm. Okay.
But anyways, so nothing like that, and it doesn't really sound like you guys have too much of a plan on getting in, do you?
Yeah, we'll
Other
need to
than,
brainstorm that.
hmm, well, wouldn't work for us, but maybe it could work for you guys. Could be a possibility.
We're open for suggestions.
Well, I guess this would depend on how well your acting is, but we did manage to procure some goods that might be of use.
We're interested. Go on.
Give me 1 second here.
ready for this woman to bring out the ground unicorn horn.
Give me a second here. Well, um, yeah, I think we can trust them. Ink, and she kind of turns towards her sister, and she's like, yes, sister. And she goes, if you don't mind, could you bring out the goods that we've procured um a
Procured.
while back? And she kind of gives a nod, makes a couple of arcane gestures with her hands, and summons forth in front of her like this. All of a sudden, like this little black portal kind of opens up on the table. She just kind of like reaches in, kind of like scrummaging her arm through there until you see her bring out what looks like uh not very familiar to you, but you're assuming just because of what she's pulling out and stuff. Some kind of guard regalia.
Hmm.
Now, these aren't Dunreen guard regalia, but if you guys might happen to have a way to, well, how should we say, procure an audience, possibly as some kind of noble. These are guard uniforms, and they have three of them. They're human, sized. Um, might look a little off and baggy on a dwarf, unfortunately. These are from Tippleslow or Tippleslew.
Hesper, can we get a spelling for that?
Tippesloe.
Tippleslow.
Tipplesloan. Okay.
Okay. What? Why do you make up names you can't pronounce? Why are these so
Because I
awful?
because I use a name generator.
Okay. Uh,
Now, from what I understand, this is not a major city, but telling from the regalia and such, they should have nobles.
So one of us has to pretend to be a noble escorted by guards.
More than likely. Now, granted, not quite sure what the noble families are or anything like that there, but if you manage to make something convincing enough, they might not question it. I guess it really depends on how good the connections are between Tiffleslow and Dunreen.
Kind of look at our brothers. Do we have connections? Like off character, do we have connections? Like what do we do? I don't.
Roll intelligence.
Let's see.
See what information you guys can recall about this place.
All of us.
Yeah.
More the better, I guess. Oh, Remy, look at
I know
you.
everything.
Remy.
I would argue Remy has been there.
Yeah, he is the
Yeah.
guard.
Yeah, I would say probably out of all of you, Remy was actually dispatched to Tippelschlo. Uh, it's a very human-heavy, um, like minor city. Very few nobles. It's it's kind of along the baseline of a mountain ridge. Um, and mostly what they're known for is the brewing of a special type of ale um, that they use the essentially the waterfalls that run nearby, and they from the snow-capped mountains as they melt and run water down. The water and the minerals in this work really well with fermenting a very nice crisp tasting ale that they actually mix with apples.
Okay.
What about any nobles that would potentially send the ale over to this location?
Okay, give me a second here. Probably the most dominant family that he can recall would be the the Mushtul family.
How do you spell that?
Mushol
M-U-S.
or Mushul.
Okay. So an
It's
idea is formulating in Ryan's head.
it's a very it's not a high noble family.
Merchant family?
It's yeah, it's like more of along the lines of a like a noble merchant family than anything else. Um, you know, through their work of trade and such, have managed to acquire a noble title, but they're not like old blood high society nobles. But they would be enough to have if one were to go somewhere, guard escorts, and also at the same time would be a family that would have possible ties to Dunreen in terms of like mercantile trade. Granted, trade to Dunreen would be via land route rather than sea route.
What's your thoughts, Esther?
So we have 3 uniforms. I was thinking that uh, Ryan, Raine, and Roux dress up and as the guards, and I use my disguise kit to make Remy look like a noble from this town, and he would know what one looks like.
But aren't they mostly humans?
I would say with Remy's role, yes, they are mostly humans. Though there has been a run of uh I guess dwarvism, sort of like what's his name from Game of Thrones? Peter Dinklage.
Ah, yeah,
Oh,
Tyrion.
Yeah.
Tyrion.
Yeah, so there is a possibility in this family of a person of shorter stature
Okay.
being born. Um though
Yeah,
generally
and I
generally
I wanted to have this conversation out of character because we also have use of Dunsen, who is a guard of Dunreen, who can vouch for us.
yeah, and generally, I would say because of his role and stuff like that, though, the unless they absolutely have to, generally those who have this seen as a defect in the family line and such are, you know, not generally used as a face of negotiating and stuff,
Yeah,
unless absolutely have to, due to a possibility of being seen as weak.
right. But it could also work in our favor because they would probably be more easily seen as a criminal, and we would be
Uh,
bringing this person in, right?
No, I think we're supposed to be escorting our noble so that he could go to the
Oh,
court and then be able to make business with those in the court.
okay,
mm-hmm.
I
So
see.
yeah.
And I would say, but at the same time, if they've known that there's issues at Dunreen, maybe they might see it as a better to send somebody like this, and
It's
it's not as
Right.
big of a
disposable.
loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I
Yeah.
think I
So,
misunderstood the situation that we were in. Okay.
Yeah. But we
yeah,
can still discuss Remy as like a noble and that, we're here to make parley with the court as to, a way to figure out why trade has stopped, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then Dunsen, I know you have a disguise kit, but do you have are you able to kind of, I don't know, disguise yourself as a different type of guard, or just vouch for us that you escorted us into the city?
Hesper, question on the first part. Can I?
Are you able to disguise yourself as? It would be a little tricky, especially considering you don't have any other kind of guard regalia. Yours is all basically like this wilderness, wilderness guard.
So the answer is no to you guys for that.
Yeah, unless you manage to sneak in and steal a different set of guard regalia that would fit you. Yeah. As it stands, the only guard regalia you have on you is this one. But as terms of legitimacy and such, you could. I mean, granted, it just depends on how your rolls and stuff like that go. But you could help improve the odds.
What do you guys want to do?
That's a good question.
I mean, I'm game for dressing up as a guard and having Remy pretend to act very high and hoity-toity sort of person.
I see this as having a lot of opportunities for failure at every turn.
Do we want Remy to pretend to be a noble?
Or do you want Ryan to be a noble?
If one's in persuasion and deception.
Yeah, maybe Ryan, you want to be the noble?
Okay, and there would just be like 2 guards in a uniform we don't use? What does Remy do?
Well, we can keep the uniform. I'm trying to think. Let me see. Do I have... Is there any way that we can adjust the uniform so that it fits Remy?
Yes, we have... Wait, we are friends with a tailor.
Yeah! Let's go take this to the tailor, have it refitted so it fits Remy. So it's me, Remy, Roux, and Ryan, and myself. And then we escort Ryan. We need to do something about his hair. So as soon as we leave this place, we need to heal his hair so he has beautiful locks again.
I was just gonna buy a nice hat from the tailor.
Oh, that too.
Or his disguise kit probably has wigs in it that he can use.
That's right. So why don't we do that?
Yeah, because I think you said Ryan's natural hair is black. Am I right?
Yeah, like a dark brown. And I've been wearing it blonde, but my idea was that I was wearing a wig. Already. And I feel like some wires got crossed, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore. I have to go back and listen to episode 1. Yeah.
Maybe it fell during one of the trials of the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say if he goes in his ninja regalia, he probably takes off the wig.
Yeah.
If he was wearing a wig and go to his black hair, and his black hair is all singed, and
yeah, okay, that works.
Maybe he didn't feel like putting on the wig or whatever because it's like, God, this is crispy and stuff. I need to take care of it so I can not smell like burnt hair.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna agree to cook the books and come back with that completed so that we can use their be accepted into the group so that we can have these collars removed as soon as possible and figure out what happened to Knives too.
Well, like I said, we have some personal effects of his. We're trying to respect his privacy, but if need be, I'm sure if he'll be of help to you and help to getting things back in full swing here, we might allow you to take a glimpse.
That would be much appreciated.
Real quick, Hesper.
Mhm.
You guys are going through the conversation on what we're planning on doing. I'm gonna go ahead and take my leave to go to bed. So
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna crash.
Bye,
So
Bubba.
yep.
All right.
So I'm assuming you're just hashing out what we need to do.
I think what we need from Dunsen right now is he just going to be a yes man for whatever our plan is?
Pretty much. As long as
Okay.
y'all don't put in jeopardy my standing with the guard I am currently.
Yeah, we're gonna not try to
So
do that.
That's the
We're
goal.
gonna use you as kind of a last resort to improve the situation.
okay. Because I have to protect my cover with my town. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've already vouched for us. If we screw something up, we already ruined your reputation.
yeah.
Sweet.
So,
Dunsen won't be happy. So,
we're gonna try our best to be
yeah.
successful.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Here.
And I got to be heading to bed as well.
Oh, okay. So it's, are we? Let's just call the session over then.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
I've got a plan
Right.
for.
Yeah, we have a plan. We'll enact it next session.
Yeah. Basically, there's only one other smaller detail, and you guys might want to think about this. Basically, their question to you after kind of figuring out how to get to the middle is like, okay. And now the other question that comes to mind though is, how are you guys going to, well, convince the guards of your arrival, especially if you don't come through the main gates? Because I don't know about you, but Dunreen seems to have a pretty good, out of a lot of things, they seem to have a pretty good, well connected network of information for the guards.
Well, we've actually scaled the walls a couple times already. I
Well,
don't
what
see
we
why
could
we couldn't just
do.
do it again. And we have a. Oh, the wagon's not parked outside anymore. It's parked at the end.
No, but why don't we do
Mhm.
this? Why don't we get our stuff tailored? We sneak out from the tunnel from the inside out, and then we approach the gate, announcing that this is a noble that we're escorting from. I forget the name of the other town to Dunreen, and then have the front guards allow us in.
Hmm. Well, that might work. If you want to take some time to get this together, we could probably. And she looks back and forth between her sisters, and they kind of seem to nod at her. We might be able to procure some kind of transportation that you could use to essentially.
Fake an arrival.
Yes.
Yeah.
They might be able to find something around here that could suffice as a noble, especially a merchant noble's
We're gonna be running the kobold
transportation.
drill, aren't we?
I think that would be a little too ramshackled to be for a noble, unfortunately. It would be hilarious, especially considering how it works. Since you guys didn't take a look at any of that, but yeah. Um, now, well, I guess we'll speak of. I guess for us to do this, we'll have you perform another minor
Favor?
task, yeah, favor, and as we're procuring the wagon, we'll come up with this. It sounds like you guys got your hands full of getting your prep done first, though, before we continue this endeavor. And mm, let's see. Roll me all three. Is Feugy still here? Yeah. Can all three of you roll me a persuasion check real quick?
Hey!
Ryan.
All right, 23. Pretty
Suave
good.
as fuck.
Let's see here. Well, yeah. I think we're in this together. So, as long as you don't back out on us, we'll go ahead and put in a word that you are now part of our collective, and next time you come down here, you won't have to worry about those,
Callers?
yes, those very awful, you know, collars. I know they make it so hard for those of us who use magic. I know I'm pretty much next to useless without mine.
It's a little rough. Thank you for being sympathetic to our cause, or our situation.
Well, kind of know how those stonecutters can be a little bit, but you don't screw them over, and eventually you'll get into a good standing of not having to worry about um following certain or having to deal with certain, how should we say, hindrances.
Hmm.
Anywho, we will bid you adieu, and
Thank you for everything you've done for us so far, and
I'm
we
assuming it'll probably take about 24 hours, so should we meet about here this time tomorrow?
sounds like a plan.
Alright. Well, we will see you in a full cycle of the day then.
I'm going to have to relist. I'm so happy that our fucking filler episode is coming back into play. Like it's actually going to be relevant again.
Yeah.
The shop episode? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna approach that bartender again, check on her, see if she's if her shift is over yet.
Give her a nice shoulder rub.
I know, I was gonna offer her my room and a nice shoulder rub and maybe a nap.
As you kind of walk over, she's kind of leaning over the kind of the bar, kind of one hand on her, like the temple of her head. Seems to be like kind of half asleep at this point.
Excuse me, you could you
Huh?
look like you could use my room so you could take a little nap.
Well, as I've told you before, dear, I don't want to risk my job. Don't worry, when the person who comes to relieve me comes to take over my position, I will hopefully, provided certain circumstances don't come up, hopefully be able to get some rest.
Alright.
I can tell you care a lot about this. If you can get the information of what they look like, I'll disguise kit you so you can be like.
So what does your replacement look like?
Oh, my replacement for this floor?
Yeah, your shift.
I think today. Yeah, it should be him. It's a. Oh, let me just make sure I'm remembering my days right. I'm just kind of off. Uh,
My smoke alarm is beeping. I hate everything.
yeah, I think Gentle's coming in today.
Gentle?
Mm-hmm.
Are they a dwarf or
Oh, no, dearie. Tiefling.
oh, tiefling? I see. What do they normally look like? So maybe I could point them out and kind of encourage them to approach you quickly so they
Yeah,
could take
hurry
your
them
shift
along.
over.
Oh, well, she is a lavender skinned tiefling with kind of thin ram horns that curl around the side of her head, uh, almost touching the ear, and a uh you know uh thin thin tiefling tail that ends in a spade. She has cloven hooves for feet, and yeah, she should hopefully be here pretty soon. I'm hoping.
I just realized. Oh yeah, you want to burn her down, so we can have Roux changeling into her.
Could we?
If we describe her well enough, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're just given basically some description. You aren't given like a whole lot of description, just a general description of this
Way
tiefling.
more description than you have any right to have, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, to tell you the truth, she's just tired. She's just kind of like, maybe if I answer her question, she'll just go away and let me kind of nap here.
But yeah, we can have Roux turn into her.
I mean, but that could backfire. So you don't. She knows how they look like precisely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh,
Plus, at the same time, you got to remember this: Roux can't grow a tail.
yeah, I didn't know that. Can she grow horns though?
Actually, I almost want to say no because there are extra appendages.
Oh, well then that Rue can't even turn into this tiefling.
No, yeah, I would almost call horns an extra appendage just because.
Might be too much for a
Um,
disguise kit too. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
yeah, it seems like a very tall order, and especially with how generic the description is, you
Okay.
would
Well,
have you would have to definitely get a better look at this person before you would even attempt to make a
all the
disguise kit.
extra disguise
Yeah.
portions. Well, how about this? Before we head out, would you mind me giving you a back rub? That'll make you feel a whole lot better, or maybe even energize you. Just have a seat right here. I'm told I'm very good with my hands.
Oh, thank you for the offer, dear. But again, I don't want to lose my gig.
Cados, I gotta know, what are you trying to do here?
I don't know. I was just trying to be friendly. Keep getting turned down.
Might have not been such a big issue if you didn't keep her up for an extra umpteen hours, making
Well,
restocking the.
Well, okay, so Raine and Ryan, I guess, have this like ongoing rivalry that's been going on in the background, I guess.
yeah,
And I think that's what this is about. That's
exactly. I got the wrong person in my bed last night without even trying.
I mean, do you think Aster's level 2 half elf rogue guy was that much better of a catch?
that.
Oh no, I was talking about Zedu. Zedu was in my bed. I didn't want Zedu. Wanted the
I was
bartender.
I was talking about the differences. If you guys are talking about ongoing rivalry and such,
Oh,
I was gonna
well, I
say,
mean,
Yeah, I mean, I seduced a random dude. You could go do that too if you really want it. It doesn't have to be somebody who is clearly busy.
well, they're not necessarily busy. They're just exhausted on their job, on their post. And they're too ethical to even, like, steer away from that.
I don't think it's so much of ethics as it is trying to keep job security.
Well, part of it is, though, like, she doesn't want to get in trouble, doesn't want to get in trouble, doesn't want to get in trouble. So, like, that's
Yeah,
her
because
being ethical.
well,
That's
look
not
at
what I
this.
would call ethical.
Yeah, look at this. Serve drinks the rogues, or have to go out and possibly prostitute or become a rogue yourself. I think I would just go with the easy. I just serve, and these aren't the rough tumble people either. These are the higher ups and stuff like that. So she probably gets pretty good tips and stuff too. So it's probably a very, decently well paid job with very low risk. and not having to be a prostitute.
I wasn't going to be treating her like a prostitute, though. That would require me paying her money to sleep with me.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, considering her other options,
Yeah.
this is probably one of the better ones she could have. For low risk, because
Mhm.
you don't know what her skill set is or anything like that. So
I mean, I wouldn't mind learning.
Again, Cados, what are you trying to do here?
Anyway, let's move on. Saying
Yep.
like this is not going to work out.
Yep. So, like I said, I guess we'll go ahead and pick up here. You guys can figure out how you guys want to, if how you guys are going about leaving this and taking care of your preparations for the next day for your espionage into the central cloister, basically of the of Dunreen.
Sounds good.
Yeehaw!
Too
And I
bad
guess we'll,
Bonnie just not feeling
and I guess we'll reconvene here next Sunday.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. Feugy, what do you want me? What do you want me to have Remy doing?
Feugy's
Uh,
like dead.
I know, but
Well,
just.
if we're just going to
Oh wait,
stuff,
you got it. Yeah, you guys are talking about going to the tailor and getting. Yeah, you'd have to be there anywho. So yeah, I'll just kind of play you as just kind of like casually meandering around with the group, sort of like what Roux was kind of doing today.
if you see any other nice brown shirts at the tailor, pick them up for me, please.
Okay.
Alrighty, well, I guess I'll
And
go
I want
ahead.
I want to wear my nice brown shirt when we go in.
All right, well, I guess we'll go ahead and call it a session then.
Okie dokie. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Hi guys.
Take care.
I'm cutting the stream off. Farewell.